Welcome back to Politics Nation on MS Now. Tonight, deep questions persist in the death of Nolan Wells, the 18-year-old student athlete whose body was recovered last week near a Gulf Coast island, where he was last seen on July 4th on a 4th of July trip with friends.
In every home, behind every closed door, there's a story waiting to be uncovered. Welcome to Dark Whispers, where we dive deep into the hidden truths of domestic crime and the relationships that turn deadly. If you're drawn to real stories, powerful insights, and the shadows most people avoid, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and step into the whispers they never wanted you to hear. Nolan Wells was 18, a student athlete. The kind of guy people say could light up a room just by walking into it. On July 4th, he went out to Horn Island, a barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast, with a group of friends for a holiday boat trip. It was there, his family says, that he met a girl for the first time, and it was there that he was last seen alive. His body was recovered days later.
The Jackson County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office does not currently suspect foul play, they say, as authorities have said they suspect that the 18-year-old drowned. And a county coroner's autopsy showed no signs of trauma. Still, Nolan Wells' parents have doubts about eyewitness accounts that they say conflict. And as they await the results of the independent autopsy on their son's body, and dozens of peaceful protesters took to the streets in Jackson County last night, demanding a full investigation. As president of the National Action Network, I joined them in that call, and I will join Nolan's parents next week to speak at their son's funeral. But joining me now are Nolan's parents, Christine and Elmer Wansley. Christine, Elmer, we appreciate your strength tonight. We've seen peaceful protest and solidarity with you and your family, and I know from spending time with you, you're not activists, you're not interested in being on TV, but you want what is right for your son. And we've seen members of your community, people that knew Nolan, speak to what kind of young man he was. And we've seen people like Tyler Perry and Colin Kaepernick and Byron Allen and thousands of others donate to various financial needs you have right now. Christine, have you been able to take anything from that goodwill as you go through this?
It's one of those situations where it warms my heart, right? Like, it warms my heart, but also my heart is still very broken. But to see that people are so willing to assist us, help us in any way that they can. I'm so appreciative. And I've always said, even in my post on social media, like, hey, if you cannot donate to the GoFundMe, which I understand because financially times are hard for people, just send us some prayers. That's the biggest thing. Just send us some prayers. At this point, we're willing to accept any help whatsoever, but it has just been such a blessing. And I am just so grateful to everyone who, whether they've donated, sent up prayers, DoorDash orders, just all of that. We're just incredibly grateful to everybody.
And you, Elma, have you been able to take any solace from the support you and Christine have received?
Yes, it's a very good feeling just to see all the love that my son had from the community and his friends. So people always will come in and say, "Oh, your son is a great guy," individual here and there, but to actually see that he really touched a lot of people during his time here. And it's just a great feeling to know how much of a people person he was. Nolan was really a people person and could light up a room with his personality and his character. So he would truly be missed.
Now, between social media and some interviews I've seen with parents in Jackson County, Black America has responded emotionally to this tragedy, both what you're going through and the circumstances surrounding Nolan's death. Some have echoed your admitted lack of trust or concern in aspects of the Mississippi law enforcement to investigate in good faith. So, Christine, along with the concern that race may or may not have played a role in what happened beforehand, do you think investigators feel the pressure that is happening so they'll take this seriously?
You know, that's the hope, because the concern is when it first happened, right? It was kind of straight out the gate, like, hey, this is what we're thinking, but yet there's been no full investigation. At that point, investigation, I don't even think had started. And so to come out publicly and state that, you know, that's kind of where and the concern for how's this investigation going to go? Once again, I have said it in pretty much every single interview. I've stated it on my personal social media. The only thing we're asking for is just a thorough, honest, clean investigation. We just want to know what happened to our son. Like, I think that, again, any parent in America, or even just any person, if your loved one goes missing, you want to know what has happened.
Christine, both you and your husband have talked about how gregarious Nolan was, how much he enjoyed people and seemed to value accord. You said in Friday's press conference that he was not how you wanted the world to meet your son. What else do you want us to know about him?
He was God-fearing. He had faith. Again, God took his time with him. He was rare. You don't meet too many people like him, especially in the day and time that we live in, who is just so full of joy and light and really just wants everyone to come together. And it's very disheartening, the discourse, the comments on social media, like the lack of empathy, and that people are taking our pain and this situation as a joke, and just us simply asking, you know, like, what happened has triggered so many people, which is crazy because, again, especially if you're someone who has children, you would want to know. But yeah. He was a light. Like, he was just walk into a room and just his personality would get in the room before he would. Yeah, he just wanted everyone to be happy. That was his biggest thing. He just wanted everyone to be happy.
Elma, it struck me as we spent time in my office at National Action Network talking that you are not activists, you were not looking for a cause, but the fact that he was not there, he was missing, then all of a sudden his cell phone and his keys are somewhere that they had not voluntarily brought back to you, and law enforcement was saying there was no foul play. You were just operating as parents. That's why you'd reach out or you would talk to someone like Ben Crump and later me. You were not looking for a cause, but things just didn't add up, you were saying, Elma.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Like my wife said, the day that it happened, she prayed that the right people will be put in our lives to help us with this. And he answered our prayers. Ben Crump got in contact with us, and his team has really helped us move this along. I really believe if we didn't have him, I don't know where this investigation would be.
Yeah, and to the support of our friends who have assisted with so many things. We have like our own little, almost like a little crisis team. They have been phenomenal in making sure that we're getting, you know, the information out, making sure, you know, we're set up with meetings. And then, like, you know, like Elmore said, it's just, it really has been a godsend. And at that juncture, once again, I think anybody would accept any help. We were literally asking for any help. We were desperate.
Yeah. And I might add, you said you want everybody that will come out to be peaceful. You said, make sure y'all keep emphasizing peaceful, and many of the ones that came out today were white. This is not that only one side has responded, but everybody's saying this just does not add up. We want to see justice here.
That is it. Like, that is the bottom line. People can make whatever assumptions they want, but when it comes down to it, we would give all the money back. We would give the gifts, everything that everyone has done for us. We would give that all back just to have him back.
Yes.
I'll have to leave it there. Thank you for giving us this. And this is the first interview you did without a lawyer, so you trusted me, but I felt you when we sat in our office. Thank you to Nolan's parents, Christine and Elma Wansley. I will continue to pray for you, and I'll be joining you later on in the week.
The county coroner's autopsy found no signs of trauma. Investigators say the evidence points to drowning, and they've stated they don't currently suspect foul play. But Nolan's parents, Christine and Elma Wansley, aren't satisfied. They say pieces of the timeline don't add up, including questions about Nolan's phone, which they say was tracked, showing movement that didn't match what they were told. They've asked, publicly and repeatedly, for one thing: a full, honest investigation. Their doubts spread. In Jackson County, protesters took to the streets demanding answers. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump got involved. And at the center of it all sat one grainy cell phone video. A video many online believed showed Nolan in a physical confrontation shortly before he died. That's when Nolan's friend, Tristan Shepard, came forward.
I just know I've lost my best friend.
This morning, a friend of Nolan Wells, who was with the 18-year-old the day he was last seen alive, is sharing what he says happened during a July 4th boat trip to an isolated barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Tristan Shepard declined to speak with us on camera because he says he and his friends are getting threats.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
Shepard addressed this viral video that investigators have been studying. Wells's parents worried it showed their son involved in a confrontation, but Shepard said that's him, not Wells.
That's the video I'm referring to. That's me yelling.
Shepard says he took a boat back from Horn Island in the late afternoon, but Wells stayed behind with a girl he had met.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they'd ever hung out, was at Horn Island on July 4th.
Investigators believe Wells drowned and say there were no immediate signs of foul play. But there is growing frustration in the community, and his parents are skeptical, telling GMA Wells left his phone behind and they tracked it to one of his friends.
It was showing everywhere the phone had been, I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land.
The sheriff said the parents have not turned over the phone to investigators. Their lawyers said they will. While the investigation goes on, Tristan Shepard wants the focus on his friend.
I want everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan, and let us remember him as in the sweet guy. I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown.
Shepard has spoken with the police guys, and the sheriff told us that both he and all of Wells's friends have been cooperative. We're still waiting on the results of the official autopsy and the independent autopsy the family has ordered, hoping to get the Wells family the answers that they so desperately seek. Guys.
So good to have you there, Aaron, and your investigative team, because so many people are wanting to have a thorough investigation. Thank you. And when you spoke with the parents, that's what they said, as any parents would. All they want to know, the facts, and let the investigation, enough of the speculation, let there be investigation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's where the case stands. No arrest, no named suspect, no confirmed foul play. A grieving family asking for transparency. A friend asking people to stop assuming and let the investigation run its course. And a video that may not show what the internet decided it showed. What actually happened to Nolan Wells out on Horn Island is still, officially, unresolved. The autopsy the family ordered independently has yet to be released. Until then, everything else is speculation, however loud it's gotten.